Hey man, storm clouds are gathering. It's not the first time they've gathered over this mountain. Back in the late 30s, early 40s, storm clouds were gathering all over the world. And here was the famed Mount Currahee at Camp Toccoa, where the men of Easy Company and a lot of the early airborne units, ran 3 miles up, 3 miles down. This isn't far from our house. We're here with one of our good friends, Sasquatch. He's been with the channel for a while, and he came to visit, and we're showing him the local sites, and this is certainly one of the coolest ones. I've been coming here since I was a boy, and speaking of boys, hey boys, be careful. Don't go too far, sorry. And I still kind of get chills when I come here. I gotta be honest, I was in my teens before I ever knew that this happened here, that there was an army base here, an army camp here that was so integral to the defense of the nation and the development of the Army Airborne. As a Marine, I don't like to give the Army Airborne too much credit, but it's a big part of the history and a big moment in the nation, and it happened right here. It's pretty cool. I don't want to put Sasquatch on the on the hook too much. I just found out he's actually met Staff Sergeant Badass.
Quite by accident.
You met him by accident in Walmart. That's crazy. I love it.
And he let me live.
And you lived to tell the tale. What do you think about this so far? We're going to go up and look a little bit higher. We looked at the camp earlier. Yeah, and you went to the museum, right?
Yeah. They have a nice little museum there that it looks like your local community's done a lot of work in to try and preserve their history here.
A lot of work went into that museum. You saw the stable?
Mm-hmm.
That stable is the coolest thing.
Brought back piece by piece from England.
They actually flew it over in a C5 Galaxy or something, I think. The coolest thing in that, there's a dead mouse in there, and when they took the stable apart, they found this dead mouse, like a mummified dead mouse, lying on top of an envelope with a letter in it from, it might not have been Easy Company, but it was one of that was where the troops stayed when they first went to England from here. They stayed in this stable, and this mouse had dragged this letter off to make a nest and then died, and it sat there all this time till they tore the stable down and shipped it over here, and they found this mouse on top of this letter from this American GI. Really, really kind of neat. But anywho, that's what we're doing today. We're going to look at the rest of the mountain here real quick.
And you can't knock them too bad. I mean, the Army does share their crayons with you.
The Army does share their crayons with us. They're not good crayons, and they've probably broken them and chewed on them by the time they're done with them, but they do share their crayons. We'll let Mariah get a shot of this view for you real quick. Oh look, it's actually right, and there's lightning over there.
Nice little shot.
Yeah. This is actually in the. There's a thunder. What a great day. This is actually where the guys ran past right here. They would have seen this view as they came past here in the, like I said, in the early 40s, late 30s. And right here in front of us, actually, while we're here, let me talk about this. All this area down in front of us was open farmland back then, and the very first group to come through actually did their very first jump here. They flew out of a local airport, and they did their first 5 jumps to get parachute certified right down here where you're seeing. Unfortunately, the airstrip wasn't long enough, and so they were the only group to do that here. All the rest of them, I believe, did it out of Clemson. And I think the 506 did their jump up in Clemson. But the very first group, and I can't remember who that was, the 501st? I'm making that up. But the very first group, they did their jump right here where you're looking. Okay, so this was the top of the famed 3 miles up. And I've heard different accounts, but I've actually talked to men who've run this at the time. And my understanding of it is, and I may be wrong, but my understanding is they ran here to the top of the mountain, and they ran up these steps and up that path, and there was a pillar of stones up there, and they would slap the pillar of stones and come back down. Now, I've had other people tell me that the pillar of stones were actually down here at the bottom of the steps. I don't know. All I can tell you is having talked to actual veterans from who ran this, and a lot of them, this was my understanding, is that they ran up the steps. I am sure, the different units came through here, and I'm sure they all did it different ways. My understanding My understanding is that they ran to the top of these steps, and these were Conservation Corps, Civilian Conservation Corps built, you know, during the Depression. And there was a pillar up there. All these towers weren't here yet, and there was a stone pillar up there that they just smacked and they went back down. Sasquatch just ran the whole thing. He's not even winded. It's amazing.
We do say lying's a sin.
Lying is a sin. Okay, fine. But I'm not a lion.
No, fair enough.
Did you hear that old, you ever heard that old Jerry Clower routine?
I think so.
The first time I saw that dog, I thought it was a lion too. It's pretty funny.
Well, just be, you know, if you're one of those guys running up here, though, just be happy they weren't making you carry, you know, each one of you carry a rock up here to build that little cairn.
You know what? I believe there was, at one point they took turns carrying each other up here or something. That they actually ran this carrying guys.
Well, maybe the first cohort to come up here had to carry the rocks up for that for that cairn.
I don't know, it was a different breed of men back then. Because, I mean, trying to carry another, I don't know. Maybe they did a stretcher carry. Even a stretcher carry would be
any sort of carrier
difficult.
Coming up this hill would be brutal.
Running with nothing is driving up here is exhausting. I'm winded now, and the van's right over there.
These vans now are convertible because my head went through the ceiling.
Yeah, we had to turn it into a Flintstone. You remember when
Flintstone cars?
What's the dog in the Flintstones?
Dino.
Dino, yeah, Dino.
Yeah.
That was Sasquatch. He looked like Dino poking his head up through the top of the van. But anywho. This is the top of the famed 3 miles up. Maybe we'll hit the camp. I don't think we're going to hit the camp on the way back down. Where the camp was is really disappointing now. There's one building left over from the original camp.
Well, the gate might be locked too. I don't know what the hours are down there.
Yeah, but we can get. Yeah, we're not going to try to shoot through the fence. It's not worth it. But it's always special coming up here on the mountain and just remembering what went before. You know, when Hitler was taking over Europe and was turning Europe into a fortress, and the Blitz was going on, and they were bombing London, and
we weren't so cocky to think that we were going to win automatically.
We didn't know we were going to win.
We thought we were going to lose at that point.
Talking to those veterans at the time who were there, they told me that there was no guarantee. There was not really the expectation that we would win in there. I think they thought we could. But it wasn't this guarantee we see now when we play our Call of Duty video games, you know, where the Nazis die easily and in droves. I mean, it was not a for sure thing. Plus, we were facing Japan on the other side over there. Yeah.
I think we've done a great disservice with the media about how we represent that war, because, you know, there's, you know, our generation grew up as like, we were the automatic outcome, we're going to win. It's like, no, we had some of the worst equipment. We were not well prepared. We were not well trained.
No.
Most of our stuff was substandard, especially in Europe. That it's by tenacity and grit, and the fact that we had a whole lot of angry Russians on the other side of the Reich that we were able to come out of this.
I think we were still flying cloth-covered biplanes when Hitler was invading Poland and Austria. I believe when the aggression actually started, we were so far behind the curve that we were basically still flying upgraded World War II, World War I airplanes.
Well, I think the Navy was still definitely flying biplanes at that point.
Yeah, it was an amazing time that we do not appreciate. But anywho, there we go. Thought you guys would enjoy that. We've enjoyed meeting Sasquatch here and making another friend and putting a face and a name to the screen name and all the comments.
Now, if you see my face on the back of a milk carton, you know what happened to me.
Yeah, it's the post office we're worried about. We're just worried we're going to see your face in the post office. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have. Hey, man, we appreciate you. Thank you.